Mike no worky.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Screw it. We'll just use this as a prop.
We can hear you fine. Everything sounds great.
Is anybody else
Okie
like
dokie.
robotic audio when they talk?
Only when someone puts a dime in, then I talk like this.
Yeah. I've always thought you were a robot, Ben. I just met you, but definitely robot vibes.
So you've always thought I was a robot since you've met me?
That's right.
So
in 60 seconds.
30 seconds of pure robotness. Yes.
It's a small sample size, but it's a fair hypothesis.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we get started, let me know if you see like any smoke or sparks coming out. The exhaust manifold.
Not yet. I'll blow your mind later.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot in this episode that's going to be mind-blowing, and gosh, I feel like I'm collecting all of the incredible evolutionary biologists in Sydney, like one by one, because coming from a physics background, I'm just like, oh, I wonder what other science besides physics and astronomy is cool.
Yeah.
And then between like you and Ina and Zoe and I don't know if you know Sarah Amidor from USyd. She worked on she did a lot of work on bees. Also, like, it's just all this like evolutionary biology and multidisciplinary biology is just like,
it's a very big field, but at the same time it's a very niche field because we all study such particular things like within evolution. Yeah, so it's really interesting when you meet another evolutionary biologist and you're like, you just blew my mind. I have no idea, what you're talking about. This is so cool. So you're learning from people within your field.
that's wild.
Just a quick thing on audio. Should my waves be coming up? You know how sound has waves? Where it says
I've been told.
Unlike light, which is also particles. I don't know if that's impressive to you,
Oh, this is a good start. Yes, I see your waves.
Oh, okay, good, because I don't see my waves.
I don't see my waves. I see both of your waves.
Okay.
So I think it's just the way it is.
Okay, so apparently sound does travel like a wave, but only for the receivers, not for the emitters.
Right.
According to
a little insight. If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, does it make waves?
Wait a minute. Kovi, wait a minute. Did you just say sound is also particles? I thought it was just light that's the two-way weirdo.
So the light, light itself, like the light wave can be seen as being an electromagnetic wave, or it can be seen as a photon, as an individual particle. But with sound, and maybe this is a bit pedantic, the sound wave is a pressure wave of clusters of particles and changes in pressure of, density of individual particles of air or whatever medium the sound is traveling through.
Yeah. Okay. So because it's being compressed together and then I assume the energy is moving through and the particles are bouncing off each other. Yeah.
Electrons. Also particles in a wave.
Oh, yes, that's true. Electrons are also particles. So I remember something from year 12 high school physics.
There you go.
Ironically, I don't. I did 0 physics in high school, unless you count my 9th grade physics lab, where all I remember was me and my friend trying to connect those the alligator clips for the electrical circuit setup to our fingers.
Yeah.
That was the only high school physics I did.
Wait, really? Wait a minute. But you're an astronomer.
It's a quick class.
That's mostly physics.
Yeah.
I have a...
Yeah. I don't know what he's talking about. He's losing all his credibility with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the past however many years and just dismiss it. It's over.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I'm going to blow your mind. Never done biology in my life. I'm kidding.
Right.
I'm kidding. That would be
I did not take biology in college, and I befriended someone who was a teacher or TA in biology class, and she was grading papers in my animation class. And out of boredom, I asked, "Can I take the test?" And I passed it.
Excellent.
So take that.
Amazing.
What kind of biology class was it?
It was a general intro to biology
Okay,
type of
yeah.
class, so I still kind of remembered all the mitochondria type stuff. I remember.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Powerhouse of
Now
the cell.
Exactly, the
all gone.
powerhouse of the cell. Yeah. Which
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember where it was. I think maybe it was like a teacher or a lecture or something that's just like, that's really, dumbing down the function of the mitochondria. The mitochondria does so much more. It's not just the powerhouse of the cell, it's so much more. And I'm like, whoa, this guy's like an advocate for the mitochondria, apparently. Like, you know.
I have
Choosing
an
a
idea
really
for a
tiny
very
hill.
aggressive mitochondria T-shirt right now.
Well, did you know that? I mean, sorry, from an evolutionary perspective, did you know that mitochondria actually evolved by itself, and then we incorporated mitochondria into our cells, and now we cannot live without mitochondria? But before, like, mitochondria is its own evolutionary lineage.
We need mitochondria. They don't need us.
Exactly. That's right, Ben. So,
Boom.
yeah, that's right. And then so over time, we've evolved to now
Boom.
just always have mitochondria in our cells. Yeah. And mitochondria is only passed down through the mom, not the father. Yeah. So that's how, I mean, you can check in many ways if your mother is your real mother. I mean, typically because in many cases she's the one to give birth to you, but also through the mitochondria. A lot like if we're doing any genetic studies in evolutionary biology, well, if we want to look at the mother's DNA and the daughter's DNA or the son's DNA, we can see the mother's mitochondria in the offspring. Yeah,
Whoa.
fathers barely provide anything. I'm so sorry to tell you.
Nope. Nope.
I'm just happy to be here.
Exactly.
Just happy
basically.
to be here. Want to watch TV?
Oh wow. Okay, that's brilliant. I guess at this point we should probably like introduce you now that you're sharing and like dropping these incredible science facts on us. But well, welcome to all of our listeners to another episode of Science Actually Presents The Nerd and the Scientist. I'm Kovi, that's Benjamin, and today we have with us the incomparable Dr. Anastasia Shavrova.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate it. It's a really big honor because I know a lot of my friends and colleagues have been on the pod and I've been listening to their episodes. So it's nice to be on the other side, to be the talker.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. You have some amazing friends, so you're in very good company.
I do. I'm very lucky to have some brilliant and kind and like willing to teach you friends. So I love to learn from my friends. That's one of the, I think, for me, a really important part in friendship is learning from people.
100%.
Totally.
Yeah. Definitely agree with that. And I get the feeling that you've been like a lifelong learner, someone who's always been driven to like learn. What was the first thing that you can remember like trying to like say like, oh, this is interesting, I want to understand how this works?
Yeah, that's a really I love that question because I have an answer for it, but there's caveats to it. Because
caveats.
I do think I'm a lifelong learner, but school was actually awful for me. I was not a straight A student. I was a straight A student in some aspects and not in others. So when I moved to Canada, I had to learn English. So any class that had to do with language, forget about it. If it was science, because I had to be learning English at the same time as all this other terminology and everything, it was super hard. So my only great class was math because it's the universal language. And I was so good at math. I can solve problems. I can solve problems in my head. I would complete my math homework in the class because I would do it so quickly. And I really, really love math. But I still really loved learning, but I guess like the school system really kind of beats it out of you if you're not doing very well. But to answer your actual question, the very first thing, I mean, I was like a toddler, and back in my home country, you just play outside with all the kids. Your parents don't really, care. Not
Mhm.
that they don't care, but just kind of play outside all the time. Um,
Free range
Free
children.
range children. That's right. That's right. When you'd knock on your friends' doors to see if they could come out and play. And my favorite thing to do was to play with ants. And mostly I would just observe ants. And for me, like, because we didn't really have internet, we'd have to like take out books and stuff to learn this. And as a 3 year old, I'm not going to do that. I like, it was such an enigma to me of what happens when ants go inside their nest. And I'm just like, what the hell is happening? And sometimes I would like throw crumbs at them to see what they would do. And sometimes they'd work together to bring the crumbs back to the nest. And it was just so cool to me. And so what I would do is, because my imagination went wild, just imagine this network, community, city that they have underground. And I mean, maybe I'm gonna sound a little bit like a loser, but I'd start to like name the ants. And when one ant would go in, it'd come out, I'd be like, hello again. Like, for me they all look the same, but they were so different at the same time. And if an ant like couldn't carry one of the really big crumbs, I would take it, I would try to help it, and I would like put it right next to the nest. And another ant would come and I'm like, no, this is this ant's crumb. Anyways, it was ridiculous. But like, and it was just like all these things throughout my life that I now as an adult realize I was learning. But as a kid, I was
Mhm.
just playing and having fun. And so that's why, like, if you had asked me this question, even when I was a teenager, I'd be like, no, I hate learning because learning is hard, because school is hard,
Yep.
right? But, turns out I was learning the whole time. I was just learning the things that I really loved.
I love that so much. That
That's
natural
awesome.
curiosity.
Yeah, which I think, everybody has. I think it's just something that if we reflect on, we notice a lot more. We
Mm.
really do have that curiosity, and I think it sometimes gets muted down by maybe society, because I see it even in my students. As a lecturer, they'll come up to me and they're like, I'm so sorry, I have a question. And I'm like, whoa, why are you apologizing? Please, I want your questions, ask your questions. Or they'll be like,
Yes.
I might be asking a dumb question, and then they'll ask me a question that's like, listen, scientists are currently trying to study this. You're asking a question that we do not know the answer to. Like, what an excellent question
Mhm.
you're asking, right? And I do think that a part of it is kind of society to be like, you should know the answer. You shouldn't ask questions, you should already know the answer. Which, how do, like, what kind of way to learn is that? We're not born with all this knowledge. So, yeah.
Well,
Benjamin has questions. I know.
well, I was just thinking there's that one Star Trek episode when you're born with all the knowledge and then you get dumber and lose knowledge as you get older. That's the
Really?
first thing that popped in my head. I
Oh,
don't know why I thought of that on
no,
Star
I
Trek.
haven't seen that episode. I might have to talk to my partner.
So
He
dumb.
really, no, that's not dumb at all. I think that's a really interesting, like, um, metaphorical question, right? How crazy would it be if we were born with all this knowledge? Also overwhelming, I'd say,
Yeah.
to be
Mm.
born with too much knowledge, and nobody wants to be a know-it-all. That's also not a I mean, I feel like the know-it-all wants to be a know-it-all, but people around them don't want to be.
It's true. People around them don't want to be around them.
Yeah, yeah. Star Trek has some really interesting, like, scientific and philosophical questions, I think. I don't watch the show very often, or I'm not like I haven't seen all the episodes, but my partner will show me his favorite episodes. Um, and it's very eye-opening to watch that show.
I I really hope that one of your partner's favorite episodes is the Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra episode.
Whoa, you just said words I've never heard before, Kobe.
I mean,
Don't
to be
worry,
fair,
nobody heard it before that episode either. So
the yeah, I won't give too much away if you haven't seen it, but um, basically,
just walk up to your partner and say, "When the walls fell." That's it.
Shaka when the walls fell. Yeah,
Shaka when the
um,
walls fell. Say that. Perfect.
it's it's an interesting exploration of human communication or communication in general and cultural communication. When basically they arrive on a planet and their universal translator is translating, but into nonsense,
Oh,
like a type of aphasia. It's just like, well, the translator's working, but none of this makes sense. And I'll leave it there to avoid spoilers.
that's really interesting. I'd be keen to watch that episode. Because, I mean, we have communication is so important across the animal kingdom. I mean, I'm sure, you know, Ina, who's been on your podcast, will tell you even plants probably communicate,
Oh yeah.
which I don't believe plants don't exist. You know what? I bet you
Oh,
aliens put down plants. Like, come on. That and octopus. Those are the two things that aliens came down and put on our planet.
Octopi are controlling the plants. Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
not controlling the plants. They're just not supposed to be here,
Yeah, octopus are
according to
so
this.
weird. Like, why are
They
they
are funky.
so incredibly evolved? They live in the ocean. They're invertebrates. Like, but their eyesight is the best. Or, I mean, I don't want to do absolutes because let's face it, in science we find, you know, new facts and new information every day.
Yep.
But their eyeballs, their eyesight is better than ours, and we arguably have some of the best eyesight for what we do. Right? We don't see in UV like birds or some insects, but you know, do we really need to see in UV? Maybe, but octopus, like they have more cones than us. They can see better, but they live in the ocean. Like the ocean isn't getting a lot of light to begin with. Why would they have such good eyes? It's so, like, for me, it's so mind blowing. And then they can camouflage. Have you ever seen those cool videos of octopus like changing texture and color
Yeah.
to mimic other animals in the ocean? How cool are they? Ah, maybe I should study octopus.
Why not?
I can't stay underwater too long. I'm too buoyant, and I get too cold in the ocean.
Well, luckily you've got a best bud who's a marine biologist, so maybe Sammy could help you out with like the practical side of data gathering, and you could write some pretty awesome papers together.
That's, you know what? That's a great idea. Look at that, science being made in real time.
So Benjamin, I know, always prepares a list of about 370 questions per guest.
At least.
He's counting them now for folks who are just
No.
listening.
I was just gonna go. You started with ants, and you love ants. How did the peacock spider become your favorite? If you have ants and you name the ants, I mean, you've got to love ants to name them.
It's
And then all
true.
of a sudden,
That's true.
spider shows up.
And to be so, okay, let's start it this way. I had huge arachnophobia when I was younger and up until I was doing my master's. And my master's really tested my fear because I worked in a fly lab or with fruit flies. So Drosophila melanogaster, fruit flies are used all the time for like genetics work because they have a short life cycle, and we know their whole sequence. Like we've really studied them so well, so we can do a lot of genetics work with them. So I worked in a fly lab, and you know what likes flies? Spiders. And I, like, on my entire floor, if not the whole building, people knew that I was so afraid of spiders because as soon as they'd hear me screaming, they knew I was probably screaming because a spider was in the lab.
Oh no.
And like I was nervous about looking at pictures of spiders. Like it was true. It was a true phobia, not just a fear. And then but in that fly lab, because we were in mating and reproduction. That was kind of what our lab was all about. The kind of questions that we would ask. And I would be, for journal club, all of my papers just happened to be on spiders because spiders have really fascinating mating and reproductive behaviors. For example, sexual cannibalism, or the way that they impress their mate. Like they dance for their mate, they pluck their web for the mate, they drum the ground for their mate. So all of these, and every journal club. And so my professor was the one who pointed out that it's just like Anastasia, every single journal club, you bring in a spider paper, but ironically, you're afraid of spiders. And I'm like, Adam, I never actually even noticed that. And anyway, so it was just kind of like a one-off comment, and we moved on. And then my other like co-supervisor, professor, mentor, Bob Montgomery, once came into my office and he goes, I think I have got a PhD opportunity for you that I think you should take. And I said, Bob, like, great, because I've been looking for a PhD options. And he goes, yeah, it's with a professor who actually came to our university. He did his master's here as well. I know him very well. I've even already talked to him about you. So he's actually expecting your email to like basically go do a PhD with him. And I'm like, Bob, like, what is the catch? And he goes, oh, it's in Australia to work on spiders. And I'm like, oh, Bob, you're pulling my leg. Like, you're 100%. You're just like, come on, what is this? And so I ended up like messaging that professor. So Mike Kasimovic is the supervisor I did my PhD in Australia. And he was so kind, and we met up on online and everything. We talked about it, and I was like, wow, I really do want to do this work that he does. But it's just like, when you say something and it doesn't feel real to you, when you're like, I will be working on spiders, when you're like, that's just something you say, that's not something you see. And then I received a scholarship for my PhD, which was so like, it was basically every step I took for this PhD was like, oh, Mike's not going to take me on. Bam, Mike takes me on. Okay, I'm probably not going to get a scholarship. Bam, I get a scholarship. And I was like, oh my God, I had all of these, fail stops to stop me from working on spiders. And all of them weren't failing. They were all pushing me
The
forward.
Universe was firing
exactly.
to get you to
the universe was really wanting me to work on spiders. And so basically the day that or the night before I had to board the plane from Canada to come to Australia, I had a panic attack because it finally hit me that, holy moly, I will have to work on spiders. And that evening, I got an email from Mike being like, hey, I think we'll just do a really quick project on this spider called Nephila. And I was like, so cool. Yeah, no, totally. I Googled it. Holy shit, that spider is freaking huge. So a Nephila is a golden orb weaver that you can see all over Australia. They're like huge. The females can be as big as my palm with the fingers spread out.
Dear Lord, I just Googled that.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So as a person with arachnophobia, I Googled that and I was like,
Nope.
Okay. So I have a panic attack the night before I board the plane. And like, what am I going to do? Pull out? No. Like, I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm going to board that plane. I board that plane and I get into Mike's car because I'm already in Australia. What's he going to do? Send me back? He bought me a one-way ticket. Like, this is it. So I get into his car and I go, Michael, I have something to tell you. And he goes, oh no. And I said, I have arachnophobia. And he goes, oh, no worries at all. I had arachnophobia when I started my PhD. You'll be fine. And I was like, oh, okay. I did not expect this reaction. I thought he was genuinely going to be like, buy your ticket right now, go back to Canada. But he didn't. And honestly, he was so kind with me when we first started. He's just like, how about you work on the males? Because the males in Nephila are 8 times smaller than the female. So the males are much tinier. And so I was able to work with the males. And then basically I forced myself into exposure therapy and it became much, much better. And so with this whole long-winded question, I'm so sorry. I tend to go on tangents a lot and answer questions with really long answers. But Benjamin,
we love that. Okay.
Benjamin, to answer your question as to why peacock spiders was because when I initially got that Bob to walk into my office to tell me I'll work on spiders, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick a cute spider to work on. And what's a cute spider? Well, It's a little spider and it's a very cute spider and it's the jumping spider. And I'm like, great. I'm going to stand my ground. And when I get that, go over to Australia to work on spiders, I'm just going to be like, Michael, the only spider I will work on is the jumping spider. The peacock spider, only that. And when I did say that to Michael, he goes, oh, they're terribly difficult to work on. I really advise you to work on them. And I was like, cool. Excellent. All right. Okay. Big spiders it is, I guess. But yeah, so that's why the peacock spider was, I thought it was going to be my out, or like my I guess loophole to still working on spiders but working on something cute. And which, to be fair, like I never actually worked on jumping spiders themselves. I worked on a whole bunch of other spiders and arachnids, so other eight-legged invertebrates within that family. Never got to work on jumping spiders because they're really small and therefore difficult to find in the wild, anyways. And so many people work on jumping spiders. Jumping spiders are like the Drosophila melanogaster, of or fruit flies in other areas. They're so not overstudied, but so many people study them. And I'm a person who I'd rather fill a different niche, and a niche that people might not necessarily. It's also a lot more discovery when you try to cover a niche that isn't as popular. So when you go to like an arachnology conference, just to give you an idea of how many people study jumping spiders, an arachnology conference lasts about an entire week, so 5 days. And in every single
Bless.
day, there is a session that's just dedicated to jumping spiders. Every single day. There's no other session that runs every single day that's just for one topic, except for jumping spiders. There are so many people who work on jumping spiders. Fairly enough, they're incredibly cute and so very cool behaviors and genetics. But yeah, I guess I just.
Not just because they're all like arachnophobic, like you are.
Oh, whoa.
Like the entire field is just people trying to overcome their arachnophobia.
Oh my gosh, Kovi, maybe you're onto something.
Is there
Wow.
you had to force yourself to overcome your fear of spiders, but is there a species of spider that no matter how much exposure you have, there's still no way you're getting close to those guys?
Um, Not really anymore. So it was a very slow process, and for me, the last one was huntsman. That was like the last spider. That was the last fear that I really had to overcome in spiders was huntsman. So it was a progression of things. So I initially started to working on webbing spiders, so spiders that make a web. And there's just certain things when you have a phobia, or at least when you're going through like an exposure therapy like I did, where because you're learning about the animal, you see the things that make you not fear them anymore. So when I was working with webbing spiders, I saw how incredibly clumsy they were outside of their web. And because of that, I was like, oh, like you're you're not having a good time if I'm keeping you in a container or something. And when you're trying to like, even when you're walking on my hands, you're clumsy. So that kind of helped me get over that fear. Um, then moving on to like, other spider, like jumping spiders were obviously were fine. But and then wolf spiders, well, they tend to be terrestrial spiders. They tend to kind of walk on the ground, and they tend to be smaller. And I would watch them mate. I would watch them like tap the ground when they found a female, and they would tap it in a very rhythmic motion that they were basically like, drumming for her to impress her. And I was like, whoa, what an impressive behavior. And also like you're clumsy in your own way because you don't really make a web. If I drop you from even a small height, you just go splat. But huntsmen are not clumsy. And so they're like in between those two spiders. They're not really clumsy. They don't make a web. And they climb walls and ceilings and your ground and everything. So they're like that step above where I was like, you have no behavior that I can either find funny or endearing, until I started having huntsmen in my house and I found that I had less cockroaches. And you know what I hate more in the invertebrate space, that's cockroaches. So I was like, great, now I like huntsmen too. And whenever I'd see one in my house, I'm like, good job, lady or buddy. Like, thanks for keeping the cockroaches down.
They're doing their part.
Yeah. So
There
there's
you
this
go.
rationales that happen in my brain to stop the phobia of the spiders. And then when I held my first huntsman, now that was huge for me. My heart rate was going crazy.
Oof.
My palms were sweating. Mom's spaghetti. It was like it was huge for me to overcome that fear. And to be fair, I held it a little bit further from my face, on my palm, and anytime it would start crawling up my arm, I'd get a little bit more nervous, and I'd kind of put it back on my palm, so it was kind of like walking like on a treadmill on my arm. But it helped to overcome the fear, definitely, having them walk on my body. And also the fact that they weren't biting, like nothing. Like, huntsmen are so incredibly docile. They're kind of like the puppies of the spider world. So I don't know if I'm selling spiders to you, but it sure sold them to me.
I mean, I was definitely looking up and checking my walls and ceiling while you were describing that. But I think it's really incredible, A, that you've overcome arachnophobia, but B, I think it's really amazing how, like, so much of science, but also science communication, is finding a way to personalize information, to share information in a way that people can relate to. And it's really cool going from like naming and anthropomorphizing ants to doing the same thing with spiders in order to overcome fear. I'm wondering, like, how key is that in both like your research and also in your science communication?
Wow. So it's so interesting to me because it's I love it when a third person perspective is given to me about my work or the way that I communicate, because I never thought about it that way, that I'm kind of like personalizing things and anthropomorphizing things in a certain way. I never came to that conclusion before until you've pointed it out, Kovi, which I guess that is very important for me for my communication, because I like to tell a story. And a lot of the times,
Mm,
people are not going to relate to bugs or even to some animals, right? We typically
sure.
see we're human, we're very different from animals, even though we are all animals. And then especially it gets even more removed, the more different that animal is. And then if you get to bugs, you're just
Mhm.
like, if anything, they're a pest, which they're not in many cases. So I guess when you tell a more personal story, you relate to people on this more human level, and then they're more relating to
Mm,
you, and then therefore your science, rather than your
yeah.
science directly. I guess people aren't going to relate to my science directly, you know, but if I tell them how maybe I got into science or why it excites me, they're going to feed off of that excitement or that passion or that curiosity, and therefore listen to and maybe even relate to my story, and maybe even go out and, see huntsmen in their own house and be like, good job, buddy. Thanks for keeping the cockroaches down, rather than, taking it outside, which
Boy,
again is also fine if you take the huntsman outside. Um, but
Mhm.
just keep in mind, if you have a lot of cockroaches in your house, that huntsman's probably going to come back. So it's just try to help you. It's just like, why are you putting me
it's a
outside?
buffet.
Yeah, it's a buffet. That's right. That's exactly right. It's a cockroach buffet. Zilly's favorite. So I don't know if you've noticed your extra guest.
Oh my gosh.
He's on
I
his feeding
noticed I noticed the hot water bottle, but I did not recognize
time.
Zilly. Oh, hi.
He's warming up.
But she doesn't eat cockroaches. He doesn't eat
Oh, he
cockroaches.
eats cockroaches. I have to have cockroaches in a terrarium in my house because cockroaches are his favorite. Like, he goes feral for cockroaches. I actually, while he's out, I have to keep the cockroaches under a blanket because otherwise Zill thinks, like, Benjamin, he basically sees it as a buffet. But because they're in a terrarium, he's just hitting the terrarium with his tongue because he doesn't understand that there's like a piece of glass in between him and this buffet of cockroaches. So I then just have to individually take them out for him to eat because I'm certainly not releasing them in my house. I'm not crazy.
I wonder if he has like a little WhatsApp group with the local huntsmen. Like, okay, she's gone. Let's get him.
That's probably it. Maybe, but also I think one of the reasons why I have fewer spiders now in my house is because Zilly will sometimes eat them. Or a lot of my spiders, I noticed this over time. Adaptation is very cool in animals. They'll always adapt to, certain environments and especially certain threats. And so before I
Mm.
got Zilly the lizard, just in case people don't know that he's a lizard if they can't see, um,
Oh yeah, for our listeners, that's important.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So Zilly is a lizard. He's a bearded dragon. And so before I got him, I had spiders on the ceiling and in the corners, right at the bottom in the corners. After I got Zilly and he ate Felicity, which I'm still mad at you about, Zilly. Um, Felicity was a little spider who lived beside my side of the bed in a corner, and she kept a lot of the bugs out. And then Zilly,
Mhm.
because as you can tell, he is mostly a free roam lizard, especially in the summertime because it's warm in the apartment and he's happy with that. He doesn't need his heating pad. He was roaming around and I literally saw it happen in slow motion as he was going around the bed and he spotted Felicity in the corner and I didn't have time to be like, no, Felicity, as he went
No.
and he ate her. And after Felicity, no spiders were in the bottom corners of my house. They've all moved up. Um, but now I don't have very many spiders at all in the house because I think they're all a bit risk averse. They're trying to avoid the risk of being eaten by Zilly after what happened to Felicity. Ah, rip in peace.
Poor Felicity.
Oh, Felicity.
Oh.
I'm just thinking about how if there's a spider in our house, the sirens go off and I have to come running to go take care of it. And then you are like, hey, neighbor.
Yeah. That's where in the States do you live, Benjamin?
California.
Oh, California. So you must get quite a few like of the bigger
Yes.
spiders, right? Because it's warm and there's this interesting correlation where with warm weather your bugs get a little bit bigger and maybe they get outside
Mhm.
more. So you must get some really nice big spiders. Sorry,
I
I'm saying
wouldn't
it with
call
a
them
smile
nice,
to
but
horror in your
A
face.
massive grin.
no, we get them. We get the daddy long legs mostly,
Ah,
and
yeah.
they're
Ooh,
we get a lot of
could I
those.
tell you a cool fact about daddy longlegs?
Please,
So, daddy
we'll
long
edit out this cool science fact from this science show for later.
So, daddy longlegs actually means different things in different countries. So, daddy longlegs in Canada and North America are actually an arachnid, but not a spider. Daddy longlegs
Huh.
in Canada and North America are referred to as, are actually opilions. So, they also have 8 legs, but they look very different from spiders because instead of having a head and an abdomen, it's all fused and it's like one big oval body cavity.
Mhm.
And so those are in Australia we call them harvestmen because they're not a spider, they're a different kind of an arachnid, and they have all these different
Mhm.
biologies, including like different body shapes and other internal organs. Like they have 2 penises. Harvestmen have 2 penises. Anyways, sorry, not 2 penises. That's Zilly. I'm thinking about Zilly. They have non-flagellated sperm. Sorry.
I love how you were just trying to like find a way to like ease that into the conversation
That-
that Zilly's packing some serious heat.
Did I just want to impress my lizard? Yeah, he's very impressive. Look at him. He's turning really
He is.
yellow because we're talking about him, and he's like, I am very impressive.
Is that how he blushes? He blushes yellow.
He is. He's a little blushy boy. Sorry, they don't have 2 penises, but they do have a penile-like appendage that's long compared to other arachnids because their sperm
Mhm.
doesn't have a tail. So because of that, they've evolved an appendage that kind of goes deeper within the female when they're mating. Anyway, so that's harvestmen. But daddy longlegs in Australia are spiders. So they are an arachnid, but they are real spiders that have a very small head and abdomen and very long legs. But it's a whole different, not just species, but a different family of arachnids. Anyways, cool fact for you. So next time you see daddy longlegs, you'll be like, that's not even a spider. So if your partner is just like, oh, a spider, you should be like, no, this isn't even a spider.
I can imagine
The
that.
old-
I'll
well,
come in,
actually-
I'll see it, and I'll say, nope, not a spider. And then the feedback will be, get rid of whatever it is.
And daddy longlegs in North America, the term referring to daddy longlegs, which is harvestmen, don't even have fangs or venom. So they're fully harmless.
Oh, I know they're fully harmless. Whenever there's a spider and I'm called in, right away there's people waiting for me with Clorox wipes and napkins, and here's like the tools you need to go get them, and I just go grab it
with
and
your hands.
throw it outside. Yeah,
Very brave. I love that. Yeah.
I wouldn't be so bold as to go study, let alone live with spiders in Australia, the land
Of
is
all
designed
places.
to kill you with drop bears and jumping spiders and God knows what else, even though the drop bears is fake.
Well, to circle back to all the way to the beginning, in Australia, it's not the spiders that will hurt you, it's the ants. The ants in Australia are, almost all of them are venomous in at least some way to humans. And almost all of them will bite unprovoked. A spider needs to be pretty damn provoked to bite you, okay? But ants, no. What you're doing is having a lovely little picnic, and these damn green ants are coming in, and the way that they bite you, it's like a nervous system, like, thing. Like, it's like shoots right through your muscles. It's awful. Oh, there he goes. That was Zilly. He's just like, I'm warm enough. I can now go explore the house. The ants here, and especially the bull ants, the fire ants, the bulldog ants. Those goddamn. Oh, I'm so sorry, but when you're hiking and you see a bulldog ant or a bull ant or a fire ant, if that thing spots you, it already hates you, and you know what it's going to do? It's going to grab its posse, and they will hunt you down, and they will try to kill you. And all you did was look at him the wrong way, okay? So, really, ants is what's going to get you in Australia, okay? Not the spiders. Let's remove this, like, vendetta against spiders in Australia. The spiders are the good ones. It's the ants. But they have better PR, apparently. Ants do. But I'm going to be the one that is going to change your opinion on ants in Australia. I don't know what great PR team they have hired, but I will change this for them. I will be the PR for the spiders. Spiders all the way. Sorry.
So all the spider hate is just like a conspiracy by big ants trying to get off.
That's right. That's right.
That
That's
makes
right.
sense.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get so, emotional about this, but
It's good.
But
No, we
ants are
like
like
it.
the biker gangs of the Australian outback. Not even the outback, just Australia in general.
yeah. Listen, like they're
Some
like down
roving
in.
gangs of ants just waiting to kick some ass.
That's right. That's right. The ants, like they have vendetta against everything. They just hate everything except for themselves. Damn bastards.
Oh my gosh. Was not expecting this, but I love it.
The ant slander. Even though we started off with me being like, ants are cute. No, ants in Australia suck.
I know. You've been on quite this journey. I love you, little buddy. Let me help you carry your food. Ants are jerks.
But just Australian.
Australian ants.
Australian ants.
Oh.
Oh god. This is amazing. I feel like I really need to get some insights. You probably get asked about this all the time, but I need to get some insights into the work that you did on sexual conflict in animals and like how that, like, maybe to my previous point, there's somewhat of a fine line between like over humanizing animal behavior, but it's also important to explain it. So yeah, like how is it that in the animal kingdom females can evolve in such a way to like avoid harmful males? I know that's like work you did in your PhD, and maybe it's slightly related or tangential to what you do now,
Mhm.
but yeah, please explain.
Yeah, so I've been actually studying sex conflict all the way from my honors. Sorry, my
Mhm,
apologies, for my master's. In my honors, I did climate change on frogs. Um, but it's all the way from my master's. And in my master's, I looked at sexual conflict on like a molecular level, so between egg and sperm, um,
mhm,
and kind of everything else that comes with that. So basically, like sperm competition and how that can be harmful to females, and how how they can co-evolve against it. So just to kind of clarify, sex conflict is this battle of the sexes, basically. So how males and
mhm,
females in evolution, um, the the kind of I mean, evolution itself doesn't have a goal, but individuals have a goal to survive. And a part of survival is also mating, right? Mating to
mhm.
survive and successfully mating. But
Sure.
males and females have very selfish needs. And when you don't satisfy those selfish needs, it can come at really high costs. So, for example, a selfish need of a female is to want to mate with a really fit male, whether that means he's handsome, whether that means he can take care of the kids really well, whether that means he's got really excellent genes. All of that is
Mhm,
important to her. But what's important to the male is that he has, in some animals, and in some species, sorry, that he has a lot of his DNA in the world, right? That there's his genetics live on. Um,
mhm.
so he's trying to get as many females as possible, while females are trying to get as few males, but the best males as possible. So there's like that.
Quality versus quantity.
That's right. That's right. And again, it's not necessarily just males and females because animal kingdom is so diverse and so different. But that's kind of the traditional view of things.
Mhm,
Um, anyway, so I was studying that in the eggs and the sperm and the kind of this selfish ejaculate that we refer to that the males have, um, because sometimes males can evolve if they're in a competitive environment. They can, in terms of sperm competition, they can be really devastating to the female. Sometimes the male ejaculate could have her like shorten her lifespan, can make her less interested in other males. So it's like mentally manipulating her. It
ooh,
can
okay.
induce her to lay more eggs than she actually would physically maybe want to within that egg lay. Or, I mean, not want to per se, but like her body can handle to really pump
Right.
out those eggs. Um, there's like that ejaculate can make her smell bad to other males so that other males will avoid her. And they're like, oh, I don't want to mate with you. You smell, like you've already been mated, or you've mated with that particular male or something like that. So they're manipulating her in all these ways, preventing her
Mm,
from exercising her selfish needs of like picking a male, let's say, or maybe she does want to mate with a whole bunch of males. Polygamy, polyandry, all of that exists within the animal kingdom. It just depends on the species. Anyway, so I did that from a
mhm,
kind of molecular level in my master's, and then from a behavioral level in my PhD, and now we continue to do it in my lab as well. We kind of look at it from a behavioral point of view, and we look at we look at different aspects of these selfish needs. So, for example, why do some males have weapons? Why do a male deer has antlers? Moose, why do they have
mhm,
antlers? And how costly is that to the female? Can they harm the female even accidentally with those weapons? Um, how costly is it to them? Is it really worth it to fight? Who are they fighting for? What kind of females are they fighting for? Are they fighting only when they know they can win that fight? So those kinds of
mhm,
questions we ask in the lab. Um, and then so we look at all of these selfish needs and why they've evolved and how they can co-evolve over time within both species. Because having something like weapons might look good on the surface and be like, yeah, a male wants to have weapons. He wants to be this like alpha, which I use in quotations because it's a whole other story. It's the wrong thing and whatever. Do they want to be this like strong macho male? Or is it actually not very great to have the biggest weapons in all the land? Because turns out you can barely move your head, and if you can't move your head, you can't move anywhere. Why would a female mate with you just because you have really big weapons? So all of these like questions and caveats that I like to study and kind of got into because I find that it's really fascinating questions, at least to me. Did I even answer your question?
In a way that was so much better than I intended.
It's got me wondering if there's a species out there where the males has weapons rather they're literally completely useless, yet they give the impression to other animals that they could cause harm, but in reality the animal has absolutely no use for them whatsoever, and they don't even know how to use them.
You are onto something, because I have been already like studying this, and a lot of the evidence shows that weapons are not used for fighting. They're used to just show off, to intimidate, if anything. And some animals actually don't evolve weapons and instead evolve these intimidation tactics instead. So it's kind of like might have stemmed from a weaponry sort of theme and instead evolved into intimidation only. So there's this case in lizards. Zilly's no longer here, but so bearded dragons, they have that big black beard, right? He'll turn it black sometimes when he's constipated, but sometimes when he sees when he's unhappy in some way, which includes seeing another male. Sometimes it's himself in the mirror. So he'll make his beard really, really black. He's not looking for a fight. He's just looking to intimidate and hopefully avoid the fight altogether, because that male that's staring him back in the mirror is going, whoa, your beard is so black, it's scary. I'm not going to fight you. Now, I wonder what goes on through Zilly's head when he sees the other male do the exact same thing as him. and not really go anywhere. But at the same time, no one's attacking each other because there's not another lizard on the other side. It's a mirror. But with lizards in the wild, that actually happens, where they'll either have different colors for their beard, or they'll make themselves really big as just an intimidation tactic and nothing else. And they're actually in their heart of hearts trying to avoid a fight altogether. They're just hoping that male is going to be intimidated by just how I look. So Ben, you're onto something, and I also think weapons are useless. Yeah.
I can't help but picture like that scene from Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro talking in the mirror saying, "Are you talking to me?" But it's just Zilly.
That's exactly what Zilly's doing.
That's exactly 100%.
Yelling at himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I talking to myself?
Oh, poor little.
I feel like we're going to have to get you back to do another episode, because there's so much that I want to keep talking about, but we also have to switch to our rapid fire round. So.
I would love that. Please have me back on. I'd love that.
Yeah, I do have more questions. This is great.
Well, we only went through like 360. Sorry, you have 369 left, because we've only really answered one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Kovi.
Sorry.
I don't know how I'm blaming Kovi for what, but I just went with that one.
Yeah, we've been having too much fun with this awesome conversation. All right, let's do one more question, and then we'll go into the rapid fire. What do you got?
Ooh, me? Oh, geez. I was just kidding.
Him.
All right. You won the 3-minute thesis competition. How do you compress a thesis in 3 minutes?
Ooh, carefully.
Okay, that was good. Carefully.
We're not even on the rapid fire yet.
I did. I won the 3-minute thesis in my master's, and I got to compete nationally and regionally and nationally, which was a really such a wonderful time. And honestly, yeah, you can't do your whole thesis. And I was doing a master's, which is even smaller than a PhD. And PhDs do 3-minute thesis. And how do you compress, 3 years of work into 3 minutes? You you
Oof.
hopefully like pick one topic and one small topic of your PhD, and you hope people ask questions after that 3 minutes so that you can keep talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's so cool, but also like such an important skill for scientists
Mhm.
to work on. Is like, how can you I assume you might know Alice Motion.
Yes.
So it was a tool that an exercise that Alice had first suggested to me of like, okay, try to like progressively explain your science in shorter and shorter durations
Mhm.
as a way of really trying to distill down what the key aspects are. And continue to find that super useful.
And it's important because no one's going to listen to 4 years of your work, right? Like they don't have
Yeah.
4 years of their life. Sometimes they don't even have, 10 minutes. You want the 3-minute
Mhm.
thesis, I see, or at least like 3 minutes or that elevator pitch or whatever about your science,
Yep.
is just to get people
Yep.
intrigued into asking you more
Mhm.
questions. The whole point is you're not talking at people, is that they are asking questions that whatever they're curious about in your work, and you're just the expert. You're like the big encyclopedia, and they're just picking out the chapters that they're interested in, right? And it's okay that they're not interested in the whole encyclopedia, and some of them will be
Yep.
interested in the whole encyclopedia, but most people won't be. Most people want to hear a chapter, maybe
Right.
two. So that's what you give them.
Awesome.
Love it. All right. Speaking of 3 minutes, let's see how quickly we can do the 11, which is a lovely prime number of questions
Mhm.
that we came up with.
Mm-hmm.
See how we do. So the first question and quibble. What is the weirdest thing that you believed as a kid?
Oh, the weirdest thing I believed as a kid, which I only actually found out wasn't real as an adult because Ina pointed it out to me. Um, in my culture, so I grew up in Russia. I'm Russian, and
Mhm.
so we tend to have a lot of like old wives' tales that our parents tell
Sure.
us. And there's this one that I never really thought about, never really debunked, but kept on following into my adulthood. And it was maybe like a month ago that Ina was like, "I'm pretty sure that's not true." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And that
Oh
is,
my
my
god.
mom told me as a kid that I shouldn't have chocolate before bed because it will give me nightmares. And so, all the way through my adulthood, I would never have chocolate in the evening or as dessert after dinner because I was afraid it would give me nightmares. And to be fair, I also now, over time, don't really like chocolate to begin with. Like, I guess maybe it's just like because I didn't have it very often, I just don't really love it very much, anyways. But yeah, I only found out about this a month ago that chocolate does not, in fact, cause you nightmares if you have it before bed.
Ow.
I love it. Okay, next question. Which teacher had the biggest positive impact on you?
So I say I had a teacher named Mrs. Teskey in chemistry, and chemistry was not a strong class for me. I sucked at chemistry. Chemistry was the worst science I've done to this day. I hated it in university, hated it in high school. But this teacher made chemistry more fun, and I would get better grades because of her, because of just how
Mm.
compassionate and empathetic she was. And it was to the point that I was maybe sitting at like a 70 in her class, in her high school class.
Mhm.
And on the final, I did really well. I got like an 89 on the final exam in high school. And I was walking through the halls and she goes, "Anastasia, did you somehow cheat on the chemistry exam?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." She goes, "Because you did really well." And I was like, "Uh-huh." Like I studied my ass off. And also, like, you're a great teacher. So maybe take some credit for that.
Nice.
I'm just
Love
Nice.
it.
gonna move so I can put my computer on charge.
No problem. I mean, it's a great technique to have for the rapid fire round for your computer to be dying. Um, so, what is one scientific discovery that you wish you could have witnessed in person?
Ooh, it would be the discovery of the helix of the DNA.
Mm.
Mm.
Because I would have been there to tell Watson and Crick to go F themselves because they took all credit. So, I believe it was Rosalind Franklin.
Hmm.
Yes. So I would have been like girl for Rosalind and being like, screw you, Watson and Crick. Like, I cannot believe you got the Nobel Prize. You didn't even name her when she did all the work, when she did everything. She deserves it. Yeah, I would have been there just for that. Like the discovery would have been cool,
Kind
but
of.
I would have been there to protect Rosalind because goddamn, she deserves it.
I mean, firstly, great answer. Secondly, my
Yeah.
favorite meme about this is um, Watson and Crick's incredible discovery was finding Rosalind Franklin's notes.
Yes. Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah, and they gave her
That's
no
funny.
credit. Bastards.
Oof.
That's the most efficient answer to this question that we've had. Not just to see something, but also right or wrong.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Change history.
Love it.
Nice. If you had to pick one historical scientist to go bowling with, who would it be?
Ooh. Um,
Yeah.
you know what? I would pick Alfred Wallace because I would like to chat to him about how he really felt about Darwin um, presenting natural selection first before him. So Alfred Wallace and Darwin basically theorized the theory of natural selection together at the same time, but on separate occasions. Like they didn't really know. And then so Darwin was working on his own stuff and Wallace was working on his own stuff. And then Darwin was told by a lot of people to not publish this work. Like, buddy, you're going to really anger the church. Like, don't do it.
Hmm.
And Wallace, because he was a poorer person, like he was still rich, don't get me wrong, but he was a poorer person. He went to different places, and he wrote a paper, and he sent it to the Royal National Society, Royal Science Society, to be like, look at this.
Hmm.
I've thought of this theory of natural selection, and in the Royal Society, one of the guys was like, wait a minute, I've been talking to Darwin, and he is thinking about the same thing. Let me tell my old pal Darwin that there's this guy who's about to snub his theory. So he did. He told Darwin about it. Darwin freaked out, and he's like, wait a minute, so this is a good theory. I should be presenting it to people. And then instead of Wallace, so they actually kind of like didn't publish so they did publish Wallace's paper, but Darwin put himself on as an author, and then Darwin was the one to present the theory of natural selection to the Royal Science Society because his
Oh.
friend helped him out. To be fair, he also thought of the theory himself, but he convinced Alfred Wallace to be like, let's publish it together because we have the same thing. It was slightly different, but whatever. But yeah, I'd want to go bowling with Wallace to be like, buddy, tell me how you feel. Because like Wallace wrote in his book that he had no hard feelings against Darwin for doing this, for kind of putting himself on as an author on that
Really?
paper and
Did
presenting it
Darwin make him
first.
write that?
That's what I want to know. I want to get the goss. Okay, I want to get the full tea from Wallace himself.
Love it. All right. So this is one of the next question is one of the more difficult, serious questions that people kind of struggle to answer. If you were a sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you be?
Wow. Um, so I think that'd probably be my favorite sandwich from when I was a kid. And listen, I'm this is a debated topic in my household, in that
Hmm.
in my culture, we call a sandwich that's just one piece of bread and stuff on top of it, not a second piece of bread. When I moved to Canada, I was like, you guys put two, why do you put so much bread? Why are there two pieces of bread? So
So wasteful.
it's so wasteful and so much bread. I want to get to the good stuff. Anyways, so my favorite sandwich as a kid is just bread, butter, this sausage called doctor's sausage. It's basically like a type of bologna, but we call it doctor's bologna,
Mhm.
and cheese, just like Swiss cheese. And that's it. So that's the kind of sandwich I would be. Simple, yet incredibly delicious. And no extra bread. Screw the extra bread. What was happening?
An efficient
Yeah.
answer. I like it.
Okay. What is your most controversial opinion about pizza?
Oh, I love pineapple on pizza. And the more pineapple, the better. Take away everything else,
Yes.
but just leave me the pineapple.
Oh, wow.
I, oh my God, I love pineapple pizza so much, which I think is a great Canadian aspect of mine. Because did you know Hawaiian pizza was invented in Canada, not Hawaii?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Because I tend to blow a lot of people's minds with that very cool fact. But yeah, the more like honestly, most of the time there's not enough pineapple. Give me more pineapple on my pizza.
Wow.
It's like, say when.
Exactly,
Just
exactly.
more.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
more.
You know how I said no two pieces of bread for a sandwich? I just want my pizza to be pineapple in the bottom, pineapple in the middle, and pineapple on the top with some tomato
With a
sauce
Wow.
sprinkle of
and cheese. Yeah,
extra pineapple.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Amazing.
When I was growing
Amazing.
up as
I
a
mean,
kid, there was a commercial for this company that made cheese sticks. And it was these kids that go into a pizzeria. I'm like, hey, Tony, give me an extra cheese. He's like, you got it. And they're like, hold the sauce. Like, okay, no sauce. And hold the crust. Okay, no crust. Give me a cheese with nothing. Like, oh, now I'm thinking in my head, give me a pineapple with nothing. Why not just get a pineapple at this
just
point?
a whole pineapple.
Yeah,
Just
basically.
say the
I
word
love
pizza while you eat
pineapple.
pineapple raw.
There was someone who suggested to me, sorry, this is a tangent, someone who suggested to me the other day how mind-blowing it would be to go back to like the 17 or 1800s, and um, it would be like exotic enough if you were to go back with a pineapple, but it would blow people's minds if you started eating it, because my understanding is that pineapples were largely like ornamental, and they were so hard to get. People would like have this exotic fruit from a distant land, but no, it's just to look at. Isn't it weird? Isn't it crazy? And people, yeah,
That's so cool.
would be mind blowing.
I mean, I would be like, let me give that a try because that sounds like a delicious fruit.
Yeah.
And did you know that the enzymes of the pineapple are actually digesting the insides of your mouth? Like that's why it gets tingly, and
Yep.
then if you eat too much pineapple, it
Yes.
hurts your mouth. Yeah, it's
I didn't
digesting.
That
know
was
that.
one of my daily science facts, one of
Yeah.
my more popular ones that I did. I love that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
When the
It's
when
a
the
race
fruit
to see
bites
who eats
back.
who first.
All right. Next question. What is your favorite scientific word or phrase?
Oh, so it's a spider species Latin name. And it's because for me, it sounds like a Harry Potter spell, like a magical spell. And it gives so much class and everything. And it's the spider. I wouldn't Google it because it's actually a very scary looking wolf spider. But she's called, or they're called Venatrix lapidosa. And I like
Ooh,
that word in my mouth. Like, you know what a word sounds nice when you say it? Yeah.
Lapidosa.
Benetrix Lapidosa.
Like a cousin of Bellatrix Lestrange.
Right? Right. It sounds like
Okay.
it should have been a name in Harry Potter.
Love it.
I must have spelled something wrong. I got the Window Research Institute in France. Apparently, there's an institute in France that studies windows.
That's so funny.
Okay.
So we clearly our algorithms are working differently because if I had to Google it, 100% a spider comes up. But if you Google it,
Of course.
windows
Of
come up.
course. All right. Opposite end of Kavi's question. What is your least favorite scientific word or phrase?
Ooh, my least favorite. It'll probably the word significant. Uh, because a lot of
Ooh.
people, when they're doing their stats, or they'll just throw that word around, but significance has a statistical meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people just say, "Oh, it's very significant," I see it from a statistical point of view, and I'm like, really, like, what are the stats on this, right? So that word has statistical meaning, but it now has a colloquial meaning to kind of mean important. And therefore, a lot of
Yeah.
people think that when they do their stats and it's not significant, it's not important. But that's not true. It's statistical value. It just means
Mm-hmm.
whatever you've chosen alpha is, it's under a certain alpha. But a null result or a result that is under that alpha is still a significant result. It's still important in that colloquial term of significance. It's just not as
Yeah.
significant in terms of the statistical term. So I really dislike that word. I feel like we need a new word for me to mean important. It's okay to use it in a statistical term, but significance shouldn't mean importance. It's not the same.
Okay.
I love that. Um, all right. What is your favorite useless science fact?
Oh my God, I've got so many. Did you hear my pineapple fact earlier? Ooh, if I'm honest, Kovi, I think all my facts are useful, but I guess maybe they're not relevant. That's how I'd like to put it. Maybe they're not relevant. So a
I
fact
see.
that I have for you is because again, I study sex conflict, and so I do tend to dabble in sex cannibalism and why it's evolved. And so with
Mhm.
some spiders, particularly the ones who want to avoid sex cannibalism if it occurs in their species, they've evolved their third pair of legs, specifically their third pair of legs, to be slightly longer and stronger than their other pairs of legs because they use that third pair of legs to hold the fangs of the female open as they mate with her so that she cannot close her fangs and eat him. And when
Wow.
they are done mating, he will basically like chuck her and use her like to use that momentum and use her to
Push
basically
off.
spring himself off so that he can escape and
Yeah.
not be cannibalized. So he can never ever ever skip third leg day
Whoa.
because otherwise
Oh, that's amazing.
That's fantastic. I love these questions. I love them.
They're great questions.
Well, here's another one. Uh, if you could rename one planet in our solar system, what would you call it?
I feel like we need more feminine names in the planets
Mhm.
because we use a lot of Roman gods. They're Roman, right? They're not Greek. Yeah, they're Roman gods
Right.
to name the planets. And so I feel like, and Greek mythology and Roman mythology has very incredible and powerful women, goddesses, and
Mhm.
other kind of ethereal entities. Um, so yeah, maybe we can name one of them like Arania. So for the Latin word for spider.
Ooh.
Maybe we can name like Mercury, just because she's the first one. Well, I call the planets she. Sorry,
Arania.
but maybe we could call her
Yeah,
Arania.
I like that.
Yeah.
Urania. Nice. Nice. All right. This is the 11th question for all the marbles. If you had to sing one karaoke song to save humanity from an alien invasion, what would it be?
Mm. Well, if we did have an alien invasion, which let's face it, it's going to be the octopus. Um, I And then if it is going to be the octopus, I'm going to take my own eight-legged invertebrates and we're going to create an army, obviously. So it'll be me and the spiders
Sure.
against the eight-legged octopus, the aliens. And it'll probably have to be Another One Bites the Dust.
Another one for the show.
Nice.
Because, Benjamin, to go back to the weaponry, I'm going to use the song to intimidate the aliens. And so they're already going to be like, whoa, she's super confident with her army full of spiders.
Mhm.
And she's already singing about
Yeah.
me biting the dust. So I don't even have to fight.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I'm
another
just
one bites the dust.
intimidating.
Like,
no.
how many others have bitten this dust of which she speaks? Oh my goodness.
That's right. That's right.
I also love how like you're not going to bring your two-legged self to an eight-legged fight. Like you bring the arachnids to take on the octopus.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, 8 legs versus eight
Just bring
legs.
the third
Like,
legs.
yeah,
Just bring the
yeah.
third
We're
legs.
fighting fair, okay? 2 legs is not fair.
Yeah. Oh, this is amazing. And yes, we'd be so glad to have you back for another episode.
Please.
But thank you so much for all of the fun facts and interesting insights that you shared with us.
You're welcome.
This has been so much fun.
Thank you so much. It's been a blast.
Oh, likewise. Thank you. Best to Zilly. Thank you, Zilly, for being on the show.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he's looking where the
Man.
approaches might be.
Yes.
Anastasia, where can folks find you online if they want to follow your research or your amazing science communication work?
Thank you. So you can mostly just find everything, all of my links on my website, and that's just Shavrova.com. But you can also find me on Instagram, sci, like in science, _ Stasia, so the other half of my name. And you can find all of my stuff on there as well.
Wonderful. Highly recommend people go check that out. And you have some incredible resources for budding young scientists on conference presentations, communicating science, resume writing. There's something for everyone there. So
Thanks.
definitely recommend checking it out. Benjamin, where can folks find you or find other episodes of our show?
You can find me, look up Science Actually, Facebook, Instagram, and all the other ones. Daily Science Facts, like I already did that pineapple eats you thing. And there's so much more. And you can find the show, The Nerd and the Scientist, anywhere you listen to your podcasts, which you probably figured out by now. And also, if you want to watch us making the sounds that you're hearing, you can see us on TikTok. You can see us on YouTube. And please, everybody like and share. Kavi, where are you? Where are you, Kavi?
I'm sitting in a chair in Sydney.
All right, there you go.
No, you
Kavi's
can.
in the chair. Oh,
Folks can find me at Fun Fact Science on all the good social media platforms as well as all the bad ones. You've been listening and maybe watching another wonderful episode of Science Actually Presents The Nerd and the Scientist. We'll see you next time.